Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Division 2 of F1 Total. We are here for yet another sprint weekend. So, just loading straight into a 25% race with reverse championship order, which then sets the grid for the main 50% feature race, which will carry on as normal. So the sprint just replacing qualifying, similar to the same format as what was on last night. And except this time we're actually starting at a vaguely sensible time, rather than on the formation lap. But yes, we just should be going now. Yeah. And then yes, we've got, instead of qualifying, the 25% race just to start off. And if last night's anything to go by, it should be quite entertaining, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, we have even more cars than last time. So I think it's going to be a very interesting sprint race. And main race as well, but the sprint race, of course, I think will be especially interesting. So many fast drivers at the back of the field. Of course, most importantly, our championship contenders, Gabri and Pabdog, not quite on the last spots of the grid. They've got 3 cars behind them, the reserves of Maxi Skoloin and AJ Curtis, who are under the 2 races that you have to have completed. No, the 3 races, sorry, it's 2 or less is the rule. You start at the back, so they will drop to the back of the field in this reverse championship grid. But other than that, of course, a reverse championship grid. And on pole position is going to be hella high, which I think gives them a good chance to set themselves into a nice rhythm early in the race and then have a go at the win, or at least the podium, I would say.
Yeah, the main factor, especially in the shorter races and like the sprint, is to just not get caught up in like huge battles and messy fights, and just, if you can stay out of trouble, get at the front and stay clear of everything going on behind you, you're in a great position. Just even if you don't quite have the pace of some of the drivers behind, you can sort of just make up for it from the track position.
Yeah, and with the fact that we have 2 races, of course, I mean, essentially you've got 44 laps to make your way through the field. Of course, after the first 15, it's a reset, essentially, after the sprint race. And of course, you want to be at the front, if you can, at the end of the sprint already, because you get points for that, and makes your life easier in the second race. But you shouldn't be going like 100% into every gap and being desperate for overtakes. It's more likely that you will just get into an incident and go back to where you came from, the back of the grid, and make your life that much harder in the second race when your rivals are also then starting more towards the front.
Yeah, as you said, like if you go for something stupid and it doesn't work out, you're just, if you don't send yourself to last, you'll probably just cost yourself a bit of time, and then you risk post-sprint penalties, which won't make a difference for the starting grid, but you may lose points retrospectively once once the two get involved after this evening. Hella High, Flavors, and Joe, the only 3 to start on the medium tyre, which is interesting. I guess they don't need to make up so much with the track position, and Joe is so far down that he might as well just go for something different. So it'll be interesting with the top 2 being on worse tyres. We've seen Flavors not get the ideal start twice yesterday evening, so we'll see how it goes this time. This time he's starting second and can maybe work his way up to the front by turn 1. But again, we'll just have to see how it goes. And it's only 25, but it's still quite a long way to go. It's not by no means like a mad sprint. It's called a sprint, but it's still 15 whole laps. There we go, though. Pirate Lights ahead of the sprint race. It's lights out, and away we go, and Viral with a very good start from third on the grid, seemingly getting himself up to the lead by turn 1. Flavors as well, going backwards for not the first time in this race weekend. The two Ferraris make contact, and Lux Apex goes off the track on the exit of turn 1, but they all seem to have made it through the first couple of corners cleanly as they head down Skirloin, losing a couple of places down to the back of the grid, possibly getting involved. But at the front, it all seems to be fairly clean as Flavors down to 7th from the front row. It's all kicking off in the background, but I don't think anyone's fancying going for it too aggressively this early on.
What a start by Gabri and Dacer as well, both of them already up 5 spots. Meanwhile, Phantom and Joe dropping to the back of the field, as well as Bazooka has dropped 10 places as well since the start. So horrible starts for those three at the bottom end of the field.
Yeah, and Flavors as well from the front row, now down to 9th as he gets overtaken by Morbat. He's going to stick his wheel in as he tries to hold that position, but Morbat just has a bit too much grip through turn number 9, and now he's under pressure from Gabri as well. Heading down into 11, Gabri on the inside seemingly gets that 9th place away, and Flavors already outside the points, I believe. I'm not too familiar with the sprint points.
Top 8 point system,
yeah. So Flavors from the front row already down into 10th, outside the points, as Viral tries to get away. It's so hard to do so at this circuit with the power of that overtake mode. He sets the fastest lap of the race, but he's only 2-3 tenths clear of Hella High behind him, and it's going to be very difficult to drop him as someone going wide. I think that might be Rubsa going into the grass on the exit of the first chicane. As that's Aussie getting himself past Lux Apex up into that 4th place, and now Rubsa up the inside as well, trying to barge his way through. There's a bit of contact. Lux Apex goes wide. The Aston Martin does get himself through, and now Lux Apex even more compromised. Might be under pressure from D-Stream as side by side there. That's Morbat going round the outside into 6. Isn't a move you'd expect to see all that often. As now he goes straight back past on Lux Apex, who's all the way down into P9 and has no battery to defend with. As Sully goes past Hella High up into 2nd place, going into turn 9, and he's going to set his sights on Viral in front of him. Hella High probably not with enough to defend, but Sully goes wide on the exit of 10, and that might put him under pressure. But Hella High doesn't have enough battery to attack him with. On the inside there, that's Morbat trying to get past Rubsa, coming down into turn 11. They're close to contact, but they've both kept it clean. Morbat does back out of that move. He's not going to make that one work, coming through turn number 12.
And an incredibly close fight at the front. The entire top 8 very, very closely separated. Lux Apex, though, running out of battery really before the straight mode even enabled down that long back straight, or well, isn't straight, you know what I mean. And losing out on the 1 second gap to the cars ahead. So we now have a fairly locked-in group of drivers fighting for the points. But the way they are fighting, they are not going to stay alone for very long, because you can see Morbat and Aussie absolutely going at it. Coming into the middle sector, and there is Daystream now alongside the V-Carb, going around the outside with a beautiful move. We have a yellow flag.
It's Lux Apex off, I think, who's having just a torrid time in this sprint so far. As Rubsa got past Aussie into turn 1, and now he's down even further, down to P8. Aussie going from 4th to 8th in the span of just the first half of this lap, as now Rubsa and Morbat and D-Stream all looking to engage in a fight for that 4th place. But they need to get a move on if they don't want to lose that overtake mode to the top 3. They can't fight each other too hard.
The top 3 are all on 0.
Yes, Rubsa out of battery, Morbat goes through, up into 4th place, moves over on him in the braking zone, might have slightly compromised Rubsa's braking, but I don't think anything too disastrous came as a result. But as they come into turn number 13, it's 1.1 seconds the gap, and I don't believe they have that straight line, that overtake mode, as that's Viral trying to defend from those two behind him. Although Morbat is still within it. It looks like he's at 1.1 on my end. Let's go right into the pit lane early, and he's sped as well, which really just dented his chances in this race. The early pit stop might have been manageable, but that 10-second time penalty as well, without a safety car, is really going to make it difficult to fight for those points. As Berman's down into... no, Berman's never up there, it's Rubsa that I'm thinking of, who's just been passed by D-Stream for 5th place. And Berman's not having a great time, as he's now been overtaken by Maxi, and he's down in P12, just not being able to find any places at all. Started 10th, he's got damage, which definitely won't be helping his cause. As top 3 all completely on 0 early on, and Morbat could go past multiple of them. He's gone past hella high coming into turn 9. He's not going to have enough to get past Viral or Sully just yet. But we'll see maybe on the run down into turn 11. You can see Sully attacking Viral. Here comes Morbat at the inside. And might have just got himself into that lead of the sprint as he gets past Sully. But he makes contact. Sully gets dragged wide into the gravel. And Viral goes through. So does D-Stream. Sully down to just fourth place. And hella high goes spinning around. And he's been disqualified for trying to rejoin the race, going the wrong way. Into the pit lane comes Viral off those soft tyres. So it's now Morbat who leads from D-Stream and Sully in third. Gabri up into fourth as Viral, Rooster and Aussie all come into the pit lane. There's a 3-second time penalty for AJ Curtis, who's down in P13 and in the pit lane as well. We'll see where Skoloin comes out relative to these guys. The undercut didn't seem to be all that strong, but Skoloin isn't far away from where Aussie is. He's around a second behind, might be just within a second. So yellow flag, I think Sully might have gone off. Yeah, coming through turn, on the exit of turn 5, he seems to have had some form of off there, which cost him a whole load of time. As now, you'd expect these top 3, all on the soft tyres, to respond to the pit stops behind, but maybe they won't. They'll choose to stay in their train. And Gabri trying to attack D-Stream, who defends on the inside of turn 9, but he goes a bit deep over the curb. And here comes Gabri attacking him on the run into turn 11. Is he going to have enough battery to do so? They're both at 0. Gabri brakes later and goes around the outside into that second place.
Beautiful move by Gabri. I think now we're going to see him dive into the pit lane to respond to the undercut that the others made. Well, only 5 laps in, but the soft doesn't last that long. And Gabri and D-Stream are in. Morbat is still going out for another lap. But that's interesting because Morbat, of course, the only one of those 3 who didn't have the overtake mode available to him. So I would have thought if someone definitely pits, it would be him coming in off the lead.
Yeah,
but no, he's the only one not pitting.
The pace, because he managed to hold his own for quite a while, despite not having the overtake mode, as through goes Flavors having stayed out up into second place. And we'll see Viral does come in just about ahead of Gabri as they go through turn 1. It's not a huge undercut, as we saw last night, which might be partly why Morbat's okay with staying out a little bit longer for that tyre advantage, because the tyre wear still is not negligible. Because we saw it's not high, or definitely not compared to how it was on like pre-DLC, but
yeah, and especially on the softer, I would say it's going to be a factor.
Yeah, I don't know how comfortable.
What might play into Morbat's hand is that Flavors has not made his pit stop yet, and it's going to take him a while, of course, to make that pit stop. So he will get in the way of Viral, Gabri, Rupster, D-Stream, Aussie.
But not for a while. It might just come at the right time that all he does is give him straight mode, looking at them closing up to him. You don't know. As into pit lane does have that from the lead. Viral is going to get straight mode here. He's going to be held up for a couple of corners. He can probably get himself past into turns 1 and 2, you'd imagine.
Bit of a strategical mistake from Morbat there as well. He came into the pit lane with almost full battery, and Flavors is round!
Very wide round as well. Oh. Viral could be lucky he didn't get tagged by a spinning Racing Bulls car, as now Flavors sitting in the middle of the track. He doesn't want to get in the way as he rejoins, but he is in the way just sitting there, as we see Morbat coming out the pit lane side by side with Viral, and he does stay ahead. Viral tagging his rear as they head through turns 1 and 2. Morbat's going to have the battery to defend with as they head down into turn 4, but how much is he going to want to use? Viral on the outside, trying to challenge him for that race lead. Morbat defends it well and does hold on. He stayed up for the extra lap, gets a bit of a tyre offset as Rupster gets past Gabri, pushing him slightly wide through 4. But it's that slight tyre offset that Morbat's going to have by staying out for 2 laps longer than Viral, 1 lap longer than Gabri and D-Stream, and he still kept that race lead, which worked out pretty much perfectly for him.
Yeah, not expect to see that, especially given that Morbat didn't use his battery on the in lap, so I would have thought he's going to come out quite far behind them. But no, he's come out not just in the lead, but actually now almost a second ahead of Viral. And with Viral being very low in the battery and about to be attacked by Rupster, there's a good chance that Morbat can break away from the field here.
Yeah, it looks quite possible as they head down into 11, the side-by-side of D-Stream and Gabri as well, as they're trying to fight for that 4th place. And it's 1.5 seconds because Morbat came up with the full battery. He was ahead by the time he got out the pit lane, but he had so much more battery because they'll be on about like 30 at the point he was on. Oh, there's contact! Roots attacked the back of Viral, and Viral was spearing into the wall. He's lucky to not pick up any damage there. I don't think neither of them picked up damage, but Viral's down to 5th from 2nd place, and then it's 3-second time bounty as Roots goes too deep into turn 1 and 2. Now Gabri's going to be on the back of him as well, but he doesn't really need to make that move because the car in front of him has a time bounty, and by staying behind, he just keeps himself with the overtake mode. So maybe they're going to choose to be as close to Roots as possible without actually passing him. I don't know, maybe, I say that, he's looking at the inside to 6. Gabri up the inside, moves ahead of the Aston Martin, is going to compromise his line as well. Gabri's exit seems to be compromised by that move as well, so we'll see as we head down. What really is called a straight. They've got straight mode, but it really isn't very straight. As D-Stream trying to challenge on the outside of Gabri, I don't think he's quite going to have enough of an overlap to make that work as he goes deep, coming through 10 as a result. His line's compromised. There's no way through for Roofster. Here comes Viral with a big overspeed on the Aston Martin. He's not going to be able to get past, but just D-Stream moves back over. There's contact with Viral, who's trying to get himself there with the overlap. But all of this means Morbat is going to get another second on this lap.
Yeah, this is going to turn out really nice for Morbat, and as well for Sully and Skoloin, who have caught back up to the strain. Especially Sully after his spin, it's quite impressive that he's back in this fight now. And Papdog is not too far away either. Papdog really does need to get involved because Gabri at the moment is championship rival up in 2nd place and looking likely to finish in a podium spot in the sprint race. Papdog is definitely going to need to answer with some points of his own and a better starting position than P9.
Yeah, it's Bazooka just going off there in the final couple of corners as Viral picked up a 3-second time penalty. And these time penalties could definitely play in the hands of Papdog, for example. Because if he can get himself there, he's within... He's not quite within the 3-second time penalties, but you'd imagine he will be if they keep fighting as they are. He's within Skoloin's 10 seconds, so he's going to pick up some points as things stand.
Well, 1 point singular at the moment, but yeah, I think it's likely he'll beat Rapster and Viral on those penalties as well. D-Stream and Gabri has broken the 1 second range the cars behind now. As Rapster makes a move with Viral, but Rapster has a good bit of battery left. I think Rapster can get back into the range to Daystream this lap.
Yeah, he's got plenty of battery.
Especially if Daystream now makes a move on Gabri, and Gabri with a big lift and coaster, preparing for the next lap to re-overtake the McLaren. And I think Morbat has got this race win very much in his own hand now.
Yeah,
the gap opening up more and more.
With that 3-second margin, you can't imagine, even with the power of the straight mode, like D-Stream and Gabri would have to be fully focused on working together to get back to where he is, and that's just not very likely. As I say that, as D-Stream sets the fastest lap of the race, so you never know, but I don't think these two working together in the optimal way is likely enough that they're going to close the full 3 seconds to Morbat, especially when he's got the tyre advantage. Yellow flag there, that's Maxi, I believe, who's had an off at the final corner.
The race also just isn't really long enough to into a gap like that again. I mean, 3 seconds isn't crazy, but there's only 5 laps to go, so you need almost a second lap of time gain.
Once they get the overtake mode of Morbat, it'll be a lot easier for them to close in, because basically it's just a battle to get into 1 second. But now with D-Stream out of battery, Gabri should go past him, but I'm not sure if Gabri's actually deploying enough battery to make use of that, so he's going to go past on the run into 11. So he comes through 9 into the apex of his head, not being too good with that apex still would just spit you out. Gabri again not using enough battery to make the move on D-Stream, and that's not going to help them if they want to close out to Morbat. As Sully
I think Gabri's already focused on the last lap.
Yeah, I think. And presumably
he's setting up for a last lap overtake for 2nd place, because if he overtakes him now, D-Stream will just recharge the battery and re-overtake in a lap or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So Gabri is just gonna sit here and wait, because he's not got any pressure from behind. Rapstar's not in the 1 second range, and even if he is gonna get close enough, just have that penalty hanging over his head. So unless Sully and Aussie can get a move on, the fight for the podium spots is between Morbat, D-Stream and Gabri only.
Now Viral going wide there through turn 2 as he tried to pass Aussie. Sully got past both Viral then Aussie on that lap, and Viral followed him through past the V-Cup driver, and now Papdog getting himself into that fight. He's probably not going to get in the penalty range of Roopster, but he is in it to Viral. And so maybe a P7 is on the cards at the moment. Depends if he can get himself ahead of Aussie before the end of this sprint race, and depends on what else happens with time penalties. Morbat's gap has come down. I think D-Stream might be a little bit faster than him, but at the moment, it just doesn't really matter. I think D-Stream might be having to push a bit more on the battery. He's on 0 here, coming down into turn 11, and again, Gabri's almost just toying with him. As Scalloin and Pubdog both go past Ossie. I think Ossie might have had enough coming through turn 10.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He got quite lucky. He was off on the gravel, but the car, thankfully for him, kept traction.
Yeah.
So he only lost those 2 places from the lost momentum of driving through gravel, but he didn't spin around or anything like that. And now Scalloin is all over like a Viral in the battle for P6 out on track. As Viral has lost the... oh no, he's actually just about kept it. And Gabri makes a move on D-Stream down towards turn 1 now.
Yes. I don't know, I would have expected. I don't know if he's perhaps going to see if he can pull away in the span of 1 lap. See, he's got a decent bit more battery and a decent advantage right now, so you never know. But... and if he doesn't pull away, he's going to be in trouble by the time they get to the final lap, unless he thinks he has the pace advantage to make up for the battery difference. So he come through. And through 6, he does have a lot more battery. He's going to try, I reckon. Because he's got the overtake mode, so he's going to recharge more, and he does still have more battery than D-Stream does. So we'll see if he can maybe open up that gap. But now being only half a second, I think it's quite unlikely. Scalloin gets past Viral up into 6th place. So there goes Pubdog as well, going past the Audi driver up into 7th and net P6 once the time penalty applied. And maybe now, I think he is within the 3 second of Rubster. So looking at potentially a P5, which would be important for him. Every position will matter if Gabri's getting a good load of points in this one. He's not been able to gap D-Stream, so... but he still has so much battery that probably won't matter. So he comes out the last corner with almost 100%.
Yeah, he's not at risk of being overtaken right now. So D-Stream will look to settle in behind and wait for the next lap, or the last lap even, maybe. At least that's what he should do. We'll see if he ends up going for a move somewhere on this lap, but as long as Gabri uses that battery correctly, D-Stream is going to have a tough time getting past him. The problem for Gabi is that the battery will definitely run out if he tries to defend from here to the end. So I think we are going to see at least one more swap here. The question is if Gabi can then swap back.
Yeah, whether D-Stream chooses to sit behind and wait for the final lap, or if he wants to go and take the position now. And he's burning the battery as if he wants to go for it, but by the time they get out of turn 10, I don't know if D-Stream's going to have enough to actually be able to get past. Probably would if he chooses to. Maxi has had another spin coming through turns 1 and 2. And here we see whether D-Stream can make that move, as there's a swap slightly lower down. I think it's Joe getting past Viral. D-Stream's not close enough to make the move on Gabri this time around, so maybe he is waiting for the final lap, or Gabri is just keeping him at bay. As Phantom gets past Ossie.
Well, Ossie has been dropping like a stone in the last few laps.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think he's getting on well with the medium tyres. He seems to be decent on the softs, but as soon as he put on the mediums, he's been really struggling to hold his position.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, he was up there in the fight for the podium not too long ago, and now he's, well, not just out the points, out the top 10 in this race. And the gap from the top 3 from D-Stream to Rubster has opened up a lot as Viral gets another time penalty now. That really hurt his chances of getting a point in this Grand Prix, or in this sprint, I should say.
Yes, oh, Lux Apex.
We have another yellow flag.
I believe, yeah.
Not sure why.
I think it's Lux Apex going off maybe on the exit of 10. D-Stream now on the back of Gabri again, but has less battery already by the time they get just a decent way around this straight, only just coming out of turn 8, which is that top bit of the not straight at the top. By the time they get down to 9...
Scalloin under attack from Pubdog here. So Williams hasn't got enough battery left. Mercedes flies through, and now coming to the last lap, Pubdog might have a chance to get 5th place of Sully, which of course turns into 4th place with the penalty of Rubster.
And he's in with a chance.
Definitely would be a good result.
I'm not sure if that's going to work be possible for him, because he's got less battery than Sully and he's a full second behind.
Yeah, but Sully will not behind Rubster, so Sully will have to make the move, and that could be the ticket for Pubdog to get involved.
Possibly.
And there is a chance that Garvey, of course, drops to 0. So the two championship rivals, to third, sorry. Two championship rivals could end up lining up alongside each other on the second row of the grid.
I don't think it's likely for Pubdog to get ahead, but it's definitely possible. But I think Sully can, if Sully just gets past, Rubster before too long, Rubster has a 3 seconds, so I probably won't fight it too hard, but, no, there's a 3 second there for Flavors and AJ. I'm just playing this last lap, but so I'm just not sure if D-Stream's close enough or has the battery required to get past Gabri here. As we go through...
Gabri seems to have it on lock.
Yeah, through turn 6 and 7 now, like, he's just 6/10 behind, and out of battery is just surely not going to work out for him. I think Gabri did just have the pace over him in this sprint.
Pubdog is at zeros, there's no move coming there.
Yeah.
Joe with a run on Skullloin. By the way, a great damage rotation by Joe after the early pit stop.
Because he
To be now in the points and running for 7th, maybe even 6th. I'm not sure if he's close enough to Robster.
He should be, because he's not very far behind Pubdog, but I don't know. But yeah, Morbat has just been incredible, really, as he's going to come round the final corner to take a just cruising in the last into that sprint win. It's only a 1.5 seconds in the end, but it doesn't reflect how dominant that performance was. Gabri in second place doing very well to hold on. D-Stream takes that third with an impressive drive. Rubes is going to take fourth on the road, but he falls down with that track limits penalty. It's going to be Sully starting in fourth, Pubdog in fifth. Then it's Joe in sixth, having pitted very early on. Rubes is seventh, Phantom in eighth, taking that final point. Aussie, Viral, Skullloin, and Berman. The next four on the starting grid, obviously not taking home any points in the end. Then it's going to be Bazooka, Flavors, Lux Apex, and Maxi. AJ's already across the line, being a lap down, and will start from 17th, still ahead of Hella High, who had that disqualification for trying to rejoin the track, seemingly.
Yeah, that was really, really messy. I mean, he was spun around coming into the last section of the track. I'm not too sure what happened to him there, but definitely the disqualification was really unlucky. He was waiting for people to get past so he could rejoin safely, and the game saw it as him driving backwards because, of course, he was in the runoff of that 90-degree right-hander. He was essentially, he was driving backwards back onto the track. So that's just really, really unlucky, and a bit of an annoying issue in the game.
Yeah. It's frustrating because obviously if the runoffs is deep enough, the game doesn't have code to say like this is a runoff area. It's natural for people going back towards the track like this. Because I guess if they code it like it would be quite difficult to code to make it so that doesn't happen. Because there's then you get somewhere like Paul Ricard, obviously not in the game anymore, but that same sort of idea where you're off track so you can just drive backwards, for example.
Paul Ricard had a lot of issues.
Well, yeah, it did.
That track absolutely broke the game when it was first released in 2018.
Yeah.
Mainly with the the ideal racing line being to just never be on the track, so you never get the penalty. And I think that actually might be why we get some penalties we do now, where people just spin out and they're off track for too long. Exactly, because if you're not back on the track after a certain amount of time, you just get a penalty now. To fix that issue at Paul Ricard, where you could just spend the entire race off track. By the way, great races from all of our top three, all of them up by at least 10 places from the start of the Grand Prix. So they made their way through the pack really quickly and really aggressively. It's worked out quite nicely for them.
Yeah. It's what you gotta do.
We've lost two people. I'm not too sure who.
Bazooka disconnected. I don't know. Yeah, Austin lost his force feedback, which is why he went backwards like a stone. Don't know about anyone else.
Well, I'll do the grid and then I'll notice what's missing.
We're now back up to 17. Bazooka's back in.
Yeah, I just invited him. That's good.
Yeah.
So, Morbat, Gabri, D-Stream was our top three.
That's not... Who's missing? It's Flavors.
Ah, okay.
I think he said he was having more issues.
What, they put it in the wrong hole again? I was losing my shit over that before the stream. That was beautiful. So Sully finished fourth. for our viewers, before the race, Flavors had a technical issue, and he had his wheel plugged into the wrong port. And his
Like,
message
he
into
tried to plug
D2
his
chat
pedals into
was,
the wrong port or something.
I put it in the wrong hole, I can't get it out.
I think he said I can't pull out.
Even worse.
He said, "Wait, let me find it. Let me find it."
I know he said I put it in the wrong hole, and then something about not being able to get it out. I'm not sure if he said he can't pull it out.
I plugged it into wrong hole. I can't pull it out.
That has to be on purpose, right?
I don't know. And then he said, "Okay, it's out. Wow, just in time. Pull out game so strong."
Okay.
I think once he realised he did it the first time, he started doing it on purpose. But I don't think the first one was intentional. But then he realised it and tried to pretend it was. Had to play it off.
I'm not sure if Flavors is coming back. Did he say anything? I'll drop him an invite. Can't hurt. Because I have most of the grid now. Morbid, Gabri, Daystream, Sully, then Pupdog, Joe, Rapster, Phantom, Aussie, Viral, Skoloin, Bazooka, Berman, then there'll be Flavors. And after that, it's Lux, Apex in, well, 14th now, since Flavor's not here. Followed by Maxi, AJ, and Hella High.
Cole just asked Flavors if he was coming back, and Gabri responded with, "I hope not." I don't know. Flavors just hasn't been responding. I don't know what the more issue. Oh, he said his game crashed. He's coming back. Okay.
Alright, yeah, so once Flavors is back in, I'll quickly move him on the grid, and then
might take 5 minutes.
oh yeah, for fuck's sake.
Laptop problems.
The thing is, with that, the way that Sprint Race developed, we have a fairly normal looking grid.
Yeah.
The people you'd expect near the front are near the front. Morbid, Gabri, Daystream, Sully, Pupdog, Joe, Rapster, Phantom, needs like a pretty normal top 8. Berman, I would say, is out of position down in 13 still. That's it, honestly.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of is where you'd expect them.
Yeah, going with damage obviously is going to be a pain. And I think that showed in the pace he had in that sprint. But if you can just keep his nose clean in the early laps, maybe he can get back to where he would want to be in the main race.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how quickly people made up places early on in the race, and that really helped out Morbid, Gabri. Who else was up a lot after the start? Skoloin. Although he bottled it. And then Pupdog had to do it later on in the race, at which point the leaders were already a bit further gone. So it wasn't possible to catch them again. So it really is important to settle into a good position early on, into the right train to be with. Because once those trains separate, it's really hard to bridge that gap.
Yeah. And you just got to stay close, really. But then... And if you could try and stay in a train early on, if you start high up, yeah.
Yeah, starting high up, of course, makes it much easier. But also, if you just make up places early on without losing too much time going outside with people, with using the right gaps, seeing the opportunities where you can make up a spot or make up multiple spots in one go without many issues.
Yeah.
And Flavors is still not even in the game. Jesus Christ.
Cole's attacking him for using a laptop. It's... And now they're arguing about whether Flavors use a laptop or not. I'm fairly sure he's on a laptop.
That's definitely a laptop.
I'm pretty sure it's a laptop with a monitor. But
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he said he used a laptop before, but I think it's right. Let me check it, like the F1 system requirements, whether you can still run it on a hard drive. Because some games definitely say like SSD required. Let's have a look at
Yeah,
F1
I mean, even if it's not required, it's essentially required to actually play.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't say it. Doesn't say SSD required. It just says you need 100 gigabytes of available space. You can still run F1 on a hard drive.
Can I run an USB stick with that much space?
I mean, if you had one.
I have one with 64, which is close enough.
I have one that claims it's 500 gigs, but is actually more like 30.
What?
It's not
500 gigs on a USB stick?
It's an external drive rather than a proper USB stick, but it claims it's 500.
Okay, I was going to say, because if it's just a stick...
It's actually 30, but it claims it's 500. Which I think is even funnier.
And he's finally made it. Now I can move Flavors into his position on the grid, which is 14th.
Alright. Well, now that we've done all that, we can actually maybe drive.
about time. That was way too much for a break.
Yeah.
So after that first race, another 29 laps around Albert Park, around the sea, or the lake more like.
Lake, yeah.
Um,
There's the straight called Lakeside Drive, which is the not straight.
That's good to know, so we can stop calling it the not straight. But I like
think
that
it's
actually. I
called
like
Lakeside
isn't straight. It's a good name. It's ran to a cook with that one. Yeah, Morbat, Gabri, and Daystream on the top 3 starting position. They're in a very good spot to make something of this race. And Gabri will look to increase his advantage in the championship over Pupdog. Pupdog starting in 5th position himself, so definitely in the fight as well for a podium spot in this Grand Prix. And he definitely needs that to get some points over Gabri to close the gap back up. Coming into this event, he was 18 points back, so that's opened up a little bit more now with Gabri finishing ahead in the sprint.
Yeah. I've just gone down a rabbit hole of looking at what the street names are called for all the corners, and I don't know how I would pronounce the main straight name. But then it's the same road from the main straight down to turn 3, and then they go off it, so they go through the car park, then they go back on it for a bit, and then they turn. And then they go on closed roads for a bit, and then they go on Lakeside Drive, and they go around that for all the way until from turn 6 to turn 11 is all just one road in Melbourne. Then they go onto Ross Gregory Drive, and then they go back onto the road that's the same all the way
Didn't
down to
expect
turn
a
3.
geography class on Melbourne right now.
I got bored. Right.
Entire field on mediums, no one doing anything different, no softs, no hards, no inters, I don't know.
I'd be concerned if there was someone on inters. Almost as bad as Gasly being on full wets in Hockenheim.
Yeah, there was rain coming. I mean, 10 minutes after I took him off, it started pissing it down, I think, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, but it was never full wet weather, though.
And in on the podium celebration, it was very much full wet weather.
Well, yeah, but never during the race. Anyway. I think you put Berman in the wrong position, or he's complaining about it.
What?
I don't know, he's saying you finished 12th and you put him 13th.
I'm gonna double check that, but you just do the commentary.
Right. And here we go again. 29 more laps of the Australian Grand Prix. 5 red lights. As lights out, and away we go, and D-Stream seem to get a pretty decent start there as Morbat covers off Gabri before they get to the first corner. There's a little bit of wheel spin in the second phase, but he makes up for it, and it's Morbat that leads from Gabri, slowly back up into third with a good start. Pupdog getting himself ahead of D-Stream early on, which is crucial as he needs to try and get close to his championship rival as they head down into turn 3 for the first time. Morbat from Gabri, then Sully, Pupdog, and D-Stream side by side. There's a Mercedes the wrong way. That's Joe facing the wrong way at turn 3. And it's not the first time he's been tangled up in an instant early on. He had in the sprint. He's been hit and facing the wrong way at turn 3 in the main race. And it's just bad to worse for him, really. He made a good recovery in the sprint, but he's got to do it all over again. Yellow flag for Lux Apex, who's really not having a good time this weekend. As they head round into turn 9 for the first time. More back from Gabri still, Sully still in third, and Pubdog in that fourth, having fended off from D-Stream. He's going to want to get himself ahead of Sully if he can. Gabri thinking about the move on Morbat, but he's not going to be close enough to make that work. Pubdog up the inside, is he going to fancy it on Sully? Sully goes a bit deep to try and leave his space. There's a little bit of contact on the exit as they head through 11. Pubdog has to back out of it though, and Sully maintains that third place, but Pubdog's there and looking to go for the move to try and get himself up onto the podium places as soon as he can. Berman getting himself up into 9th early on, making up a decent few places on lap 1, as well as Maxi and AJ both up 5, although AJ is under pressure a little bit further down from Joe, who's trying to go past Ossie right now to get himself back up into 13th. He's recovered, he's not lost too much in the end. It's more about under pressure from Gabri, coming into 3, he loses the rear, so they swing around into 4. Morbat holds his place as there's Pubdog losing time, going into the wall, and he's in the wall at turn number 4. There's a few others who've gone off as well. There's a virtual safety car. Pubdog's going to have to pit. D-Stream's gone off as well. I think the two probably made contact as they ended up out of position. Roops is up into P4, Phantom P5, Viral 6th, Berman up into 7th. Top 2 as they were, and there's a big gap from the top 3 down to Roopster in 4th now. Pubdog's going to have to pit. I don't know if D-Stream has damage. He doesn't, but Pubdog has no front wing whatsoever, so he's going to be forced into the pit lane early on. The VSC's probably going to be in by the time they get back round. It's even worse for him.
Yeah, that is 2nd and 3rd in the championship. Gabri's closest 2 competitors. Both the back of the field and Pubdog with a pit stop to do. Very much nightmare scenario for those two. They have a lot of work to do in the rest of this race to get back into the points.
We go green again. The only positive for those guys is that Gabri isn't currently leading the race, but he's very much in the fight for it. So I think Pubdog's gone off at turn 11, struggling with that front wing damage. He's so far behind already, and he's going to have to do another 30-second pit stop to get that front wing changed. Gabri doesn't have the overtake mode on this lap because of the VSC, which is a little help for Morbat, but it probably won't be enough for him to get clear for that 1 second.
Annoyingly for Gabri, Sully did get it.
Yeah, because Gabri was very close.
Sully went over the detection point, it was already, the VC was gone.
Gabri's
the only one
on the
who
exit
did
of
get
turn 4. In the same way as we saw from Oscar Piastri in the opening laps in real life. Viral's gone off. He's lost his front wing. But I think...
And here comes Gabri with the move for the lead around the outside of Morbat. Birdie backs out in the end and lets the Red Bull back into the lead.
And
waiting maybe for the next lap or maybe for the run into the next corner here. Let's see, middle tap of the boost, but he turns it back off immediately and doesn't go for the move.
Yeah. Roops is not too far behind now because of this fighting. Is at 9 tenths. He might be able to get back in it if he uses his battery in this final sector. It's 8 tenths now. He should be in. Oh, he's fallen out a little bit further though to be heading across the line. Does he have it? He might not. No, he does. He does get the overtake mode, which is crucial for his race. Phantom gets it too, so they're all in the train now for the top 7. And Joe, who was facing backwards in the first sector of the race.
How's he 8th? Yeah,
he's 8th and only a second and a half, and he's only like half a second away from being in the train.
Literally, how has he done that? He's just appeared back in the top 10, quick, immediately.
And it's
Viral in the pits there to get that wing change, which he damaged during his spin earlier this lap. So he joins Pubdog being a full pits away from the pack. Those two definitely need a safety car or something in this race to get back into the fight. As Ossie making a move on AJ Curtis for P10 into the last point playing position. Bazooka coming to straight with a full battery though.
There's Gabri on the inside.
For the lead.
He's going to get that place before the corner. And Morbat's going to have to back out and probably just save the battery and go for it on the next lap. But he would have enough battery if he chose to deploy it to go for it down into turn 11, which he's going to look like he's fancying doing. And he does go back past ahead of Gabri. But he used up a decent bit of battery to do that, and all that that's going to do is give Gabri the overtake mode for the next lap. So maybe he would have been better off staying behind, saving a bit of battery, and waiting. But I don't know. I'm not in his position. He's the one that's chosen to make the move. Gabri now with a full tank as they head onto lap number 5. And if he so chooses, should be able to get back past down Lakeside Drive on the next occasion.
Yeah, I think for Gabri it doesn't really matter too much whether he's P1 or P2 right now. They won't. Neither of them really will get away from the other. So
Yeah,
they
so he
are
goes back
just swapping
past there.
places for the sake of it.
Goes past into 3. Morbat's going to be on the back room still, though. Although, obviously, he doesn't have the overtake on this lap, but won't lose a full second to Gabri. And so he should be comfortably back in it this time. Next lap, he can maybe even try to challenge the Haas driver for the race lead again.
Yeah, Rapstar and Phantom are struggling to go the same pace as the top 3. Both of them over a second back from the car ahead of them right now.
It
And
depends.
Phantom himself under attack from Berman behind.
It depends for these guys how much the top 2, top 3 choose to fight, how much they swap with the overtake modes, because they all have, as Rubis has gone past. Was it Rubis? No, it was Berman that's pressuring Phantom. But I think Rubis is just going to be outside it. Phantom's definitely going to be too far back from the Aston Martin in front of him, so Berman should have an easy overtake on the next lap. But Rubis doesn't have the overtake either, so he's going to
There
be
goes Berman
in a bit of
flying past
trouble.
Phantom down the main straight. The Audi
Yeah.
with no battery to defend that, and the same in the background as Joe goes up the inside on Scologne down towards turn 1. They stay side by side a bit longer, but in the end Scologne backs out and lets the Mercedes through.
Yeah, Joe's going to
So maybe come
want
back at
to
him down
close
towards
back
turn
up,
3 now,
but
though.
the
No,
issue with
Joe
Joe
pulls
is
ahead.
he's just too far back. There's a yellow flag that's hella high, who's gone off, which is unfortunate for him, having had that disqualification in the sprint, having gone off. Now he's being out of position, trying to work his way back through. He's had a spin. He made up a few decent few places early on.
Oh, and
There's a VS
Flavors is off. It's a
full
full
safety
cost
car.
safety car!
Yeah, Flavor's going
For-
into the wall through turn 3. It's a very odd place for a car to end up. It's a big help for Pub Dog and Viral. Wouldn't be surprised if they come into the pit lane again because they're so far behind. Flavors has wing damage, it appears. Yeah, he's got no
This
wing
is
at
also
all.
the exact same lap the safety car came out yesterday in
Exact
Division
same.
3, I believe. And
Is
we
it?
saw then the best strategy clearly was to
and
pit
cling
for
on,
hards.
yeah.
So I think we are about to see the entire field, especially those who raced yesterday or those who paid attention to yesterday's
Oh,
race.
AJ's
As
crashed.
AJ Curtis crashed under safety car.
He's gone off at 10 on the exit. I think he's just in the middle of the track. I
And there we go,
don't
all
know
of the
how he
leaders
ends up
in
there
the
on
pits.
safety car. Yeah, everyone's in. Top
Yeah,
8.
but they
oh, D-Stream's got a 10
D-Stream.
second for ignoring yellow
What?
flag.
Who's
And
he? Did he overtake someone? And he's gonna have to serve it now in the pit lane, so it can't be
And he's a
improved
long way out
either,
of
and he will
position,
drop
so-
quite far down.
It's a long way out of position. It's not going to cost him too much. Gabri's jumped Morbat, or was he already
I
ahead?
won't say it won't cost him much, it will drop him to dead last.
Well, yeah, but like he was already out of position. It's not like he got that penalty. When
Yeah,
he
but
was...
whether you're 10 for 15 for still
Yeah.
five more cars he has to overtake on his way back to the field.
Was Gabri ahead of Morbat anyway, or
Daystream goes for softs.
pitting? No, he's surely not pitting again.
Well, he's gonna have to pit again at some point in this race, but that's...
Well, yeah, but like he's. I don't know. AJ went into the back of an Alpine, which is probably it is Maxi. He's the only Alpine in the race. D-Stream doesn't have a penalty anymore. I don't know if he thought he wouldn't be able to serve it, and so he'd have to pit again, and that's why he went for a soft.
Maybe. Lux, Apex, and Hella High also the only ones with another strategy here. They pit onto the second medium rather than the hard. Everybody else, though, onto a fresh hard right now and to go to the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
With the
Pub Dog
match, at
and
least.
Viral have gone on to a second set of the hard compound tyres, which means they might be in a spot of trouble if there's another safety car, because they don't have any fresh hards to go onto, but their scrubs won't be too old. I don't know.
I
'Cause
wouldn't
they-
necessarily say, because the...
And they could go to new mediums as well.
if a fresh medium can't make the end from whatever lap the
Yeah,
next
but they
safety
don't
car's
have
on,
fresh
if there's
medium,
another one.
because they've already used.
Oh
they've
yeah,
used two
well true, they
hards.
don't have any tires left. Yeah, then they could be in trouble if there's any more safety
And
cars.
like they didn't do very much on their mediums, so.
I guess they have fresh softs left if there's a late, like really late safety car, like
And Pub Dog's
last,
done medium hard, so he'll have pretty new mediums available.
like lap 20 onwards maybe, you could say a soft would
Yeah.
be viable.
Because there's another 3 laps or so under safety car, puts them needing to do 6 racing ones or so. 6, I'm not going to say that. But like, I don't know. Like,
Oh, you said it earlier.
I know, but
I did the motion. I need the stream to know that, like, I told no one at the time. I just had to do it.
Grown man.
Yeah, 22 years of age, correct?
D-Stream's not fit again. He's just staying out of those new softs. D-Stream.
Yes, he's gonna go aggressive on the restart. Definitely keep an eye on him. He needs to make out places early on then, and
yeah. And D-Stream's obviously due stop.
he needs to gain a full pit stop worth of time over everybody else, which is gonna be a stretch over the next 21 laps to do.
Yeah.
He might be hoping for another safety car. I think that's his agenda.
Yeah, I guess. D-Stream knows something we don't. He's going to be the next safety car. But,
I'm not sure how that would help him.
Or he's going to get someone at the back to crash for him. No, but I don't know. He's definitely banking on. Maybe he's banking on others not making the end as well. And so he was thinking he makes 2 stops from here anyway.
We know they'll make the end fairly easily from yesterday.
But yeah, but like, well, no, it wasn't.
Does he know that? I guess. Yeah.
85.
I don't know if you watched this race because he's not racing in Division 3 anymore.
Also, it wasn't fairly easy because Comatic was on 85% at the end. So.
Oh yeah, fair. It seemed much easier than I think it was because
yeah, like,
the gaps were so big still.
Yeah, it was very comfortable, but puncture range, they've been in it for like a full lap.
Well, stage car's been called in.
Yep.
At the end of this lap, Gabri now takes control of the restart.
And Gabri is presumably going to wait till the final corner. Because I think it's a track like here, you can't really go early. But maybe he'll try.
I mean, you can.
And
if you
also
wanna...
with the way the ERS works, maybe you could do something interesting if you go early and you're the only person that actually remembers to turn the battery on. But
the problem with that is that you only get medium, so you don't get a huge advantage. Can't turn on overtake until the green flags fly.
Gabri's gone, coming out of turn number 13, and he got a decent restart ahead of Morvat, who gets away cleanly. Sully and trying to chase down the Red Bull in front of him, but he's not going to be close enough to do anything as they're all just single file heading into turn 1. Gabri getting away very nicely in the end, but Morvat's going to be hunting him down before too long. Here's Roopster on the back of Sully, going to want to go for the move maybe into turn 3. He's not going to think about it just at this stage. And so far they all seem to, they've all just staying as they were on the restart. No one getting close enough. Roopster is very close to the back of Sully, and he's going to want to go for the move down Lakeside Drive into turn number 9. He's not going to be. He's got more battery than Sully does, which might work to his advantage if he can deploy it. There's Joe trying to challenge Phantom on the run into 9. But he's not going to be close enough either. Roops is going to wait and go for it on Sully into turn number 11. Sully's got basically no battery left to defend with. It should be a very easy pass for the Aston Martin. Here he comes, trying to get for the move on the Ferrari on the outside. So he's going to defend it and moves over slightly in the braking zones. A little bit of contact, but Roops gets the exit and switch it to the inside. Can he keep that place? He has to back out of it because Sully's taken that apex through turn 12. And Roops
great
just
defense by Sully, one will say.
Sully defends well. Joe's now still on the back of Phantom, couldn't get past him, but he's got a better exit out of the final corner. He's going to be close enough to get himself up to P5. Don't think he is. He's going to have to stay behind. First lap of the race from D-Stream on those new soft tyres, but he's only been able to make up 1 place so far. Lux Apex gets past Viral up into that 16th place. Pub Dogs worked his way into 14th.
Sully in big trouble now. He was on 0% before he even got the wheel straightened out after turn 2. So he is about to get absolutely swarmed down Lakeside Drive by definitely Rapster and maybe Phantom as well, who's not too far behind the Aston Martin with a big lift and coaster now coming up to it. And Sully will be at 0% before you know it.
Yeah, we've got Victor Wilder in the chat as well, which is pretty cool. Rooster just heading down.
Diddles! My god.
And there he goes, past Sully comfortably. Sully just not having the battery to defend with, and he could very well be vulnerable to those behind, but I don't think Joe's going to be close enough, as he only just gets past Phantom. But he's going to go for it. He should have the run now, heading into 11. If he chooses to go for the move, Morvat's gone past Gabri as well. Sully defends and stays ahead of Joe as they head through. Turn number 12 now into 13. Is Morvat ahead of Gabri. Gabri has a full battery to go for it though, and now the overtake mode for this lap. And he's going to maybe try and get himself in front, but at the moment he's not going to go for it. Maybe waiting for that run into 9.
There goes Gabri,
And
Rio
he's gonna
taking a
go
moment
it.
for the lead.
Yeah. Gary goes for the lead and gets himself ahead comfortably before the braking zone. Joe still all over the back of Sully, but just not able to find a way through. He's got so much more battery if he just chooses to spend it on Lakeside Drive into 9, but he's just got to get that move and get himself through because he seems to have so much more
Daystream
pace
with big
than the Ferrari
damage.
driver.
Missing almost half the front wing. The entire right side of the flaps are gone. It's just the plank at the bottom left over.
Yeah, and that soft plan has just not worked out because the damage is just... at least he's pitting anyway, I guess, but now he's got to change the
Yeah,
ring
I was
in
going
that
to say,
spot.
like he's not really gone anywhere. But considering the damage on his car, it's actually impressive that he hasn't dropped down the field quite significantly.
There's Morbat.
As Morbat Rio takes Gabri.
Yeah, despite not having the overtake mode, Sully and Berman side by side. Berman gets himself in front, following Joe through and up into that 5th place. Sully falling backwards now. And I just don't think he's quite got the battery management down in order to stay in front of some of these guys behind. Because the last couple of overtakes, like Joe had so much more battery than Sully did. And just meant Sully couldn't really defend it. And when he tries to defend from Joe, it just makes him vulnerable to Berman, who's gone through as well. Now he's got Phantom behind him, who doesn't have that much more battery, but he does still have more. Gary gets back past Morbat into 3 yet again, as Hella High picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Joe...
Daystream in the pits in the meanwhile,
Yeah.
getting that wing change, coming out in 17th. So he's got a lot of work to do to get back into the fight for the points. And I think realistically he'll need a safety car, but even then, he won't have any tyres left to pit onto.
Yeah, and Joe going from last on lap 1, being spun around at turn 3, is now up in 4th place and very much in this fight for the race victory, as with Gabri, Morbat and Roobster, and maybe even Berman if he can get himself closer. But Morbat's he's under a bit of pressure, but Roobster has no battery.
Scaloy with
and
the
he's
move
gonna
on
go
Sully
back
there, up
through.
into P6.
Yes.
Around the outside, and make a bit of contact. Bird's going at it around the outside in the
There's a safety car.
Another full course
As
safety car
the-
for Hella High.
Yeah,
Was
Hella
spun
High going up to
out
10.
of turn 11. And on lap 12, the race is once again neutralized, and now it's an interesting strategy decision. Do you stay out on these slightly used hards that everybody's on? And it seems like
Everyone
they
seems to be
all
staying
are
out.
going to stay out. Bazooka's in.
Aussie
And
in.
so Aussie.
Maybe Maxi follows
Maxi?
him, yes he does. Pubdog is going to stay out. He doesn't really have the tyres available to pit. Viral in, and he's going back onto a used tyre then. Or, I think so. Maybe he's only pitted twice, or the once so far, I'm not sure.
Viral didn't pit on the last safety car.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he
That's
did.
only his... his... He
Can
actually goes to soft.
Which is a bold call, I would say. I guess it's the only thing he has new. Lux Apex gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding, so he's probably going to pit another time. D-Stream's somewhat benefiting from it, but he's going to wish it was a lap ago.
Well, I think if he hadn't pit, he would have been in the same position, and if the safety car had come out, I think the only disadvantage he has with it not being 1 lap ago is the 1 lap tire disadvantage over the rest of the people who pit now.
Yeah.
But D-Stream's definitely back in the race now, and he will be, I think, happy with that safety car.
Yeah, he's going to have to get his way through some of the drivers he wanted to get past before when he got that damage, which is possibly going to be playing on his mind. But I don't know. Morbat's ahead of Gabri now, who got him just at the right time when the yellow flag came out.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put too much weight on who's P1 and
Yeah.
P2. That's going to keep swapping back and forth every lap or two. I'm not even too bothered when I see him swapping at this point.
Yeah. And the two Mercedes drivers have started to work their way back through. Obviously, Joe being very much up in that fight. Pubdog down in P9 isn't out of it at all. If you can just get in this way, pass a couple of cars early on, and make sure the train just doesn't split ahead of him.
The problem for Pubdog is more so behind him. The guys on fresh tires are
Yeah.
not too far behind. Raul is in the pit lane again.
I guess using the soft as a tire to go back onto the... I don't know what he's planning to do, really. He's going...
Yeah, why would he go back to the hard he was just on? He might as well have just stayed out then.
He's going on to a 2-lap old
Yeah,
hard.
2 lap old hards. I thought he had those. I don't know why he didn't pit onto them in the first place. And now he will drop dead last.
Yeah. Yeah, Pubdog and D-Stream did collide, as seemed like the only possible ready outcome of them both tumbling down and Pubdog spinning in such a weird place. Like, you're not going to spin there without contact. And then obviously with D-Stream dropping down, it makes it all the more likely that the pair collided, and indeed they did. So that one's likely to end up on top of the pile of work for the stewards to do after this race. As Felix, apparently when you say viral, it sounds like Raoul.
What?
I don't know, that's what Cole said.
Like Raúl, the fucking Spanish football player.
Yeah, the Spanish name. Safety car in this lap.
Would you prefer if I said viral? Because that's how you pronounce it in German. Viral. Maybe when I say it quickly, I don't know. I don't hear it.
I guess if you kind of swallow the R a bit, and then
Actually, why don't I pronounce it German? He is German.
I don't know. Safety car's in this lap though, as Morbat opens a bit of a gap up on Gabri. Obviously, Gabri is going to close that down before the safety car actually comes in. But this time it's Morbat dictating the pace on the restart for the second safety car restart this race. And when does he choose to accelerate? He's going to choose a similar spot to Gabri. He's going to go a little bit later, and he goes now on the apex of the final corner, but Gabri's gone with him as they head down towards turn 1. The Haas driver might be in with a chance of going for the move into 1, but he doesn't really have an incentive to, as he sticks behind and waits for a better opportunity, possibly going a bit wide there on the apex, or on the exit, sorry, of turn 2. Aussie picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there down in P12 outside the points, but that could prove costly if he works his way higher up later in the race. Side by side there, that's Pubdog and Flavors, I believe. Flavors being pushed out slightly wide and losing the place to Bazooka, and now to his teammate Aussie as well. Pubdog holding on to that P9. He's going to want to be looking forwards rather than backwards, but with that tyre difference, it's going to be difficult for him.
Yeah, exactly what I talked about before the restart. He's now in a really difficult spot. He's got Bazooka and Aussie right behind him. They seem not too far away either, and all of them are going to be looking to cut their way through the field here and get up towards the top 5 positions. The tyre advantage is not huge. It's 6 laps and a few of those under safety car, but definitely considerable. And there goes Rapster up the inside of Gabri for second place in this Grand Prix, but he backs out halfway through the braking zone, locks up a little bit, but does get his nose out the gap just in time to avoid an incident. Now Joe will sniff his opportunity, but not into here.
Yeah. Flavors hasn't had, like, a great restart again. He seemed to struggle in the start. I don't know how his first restart was, but he's fallen down a couple of places again on this safety car restart. It's just, I don't know if he struggles to get back into a rhythm or just struggles when it's closer together. But it's, you know, he had the same last night as well, of just dropping a couple places on the restart and the second restart especially. So I don't know, I just noticed it because he's down in 13th now behind D-Stream and Aussie Bazooka as well. I don't know. Gabri's going to get the overtake mode on Morbat this time around, and it is the closest pair we have on track at the moment, and Gabri does have more battery to play with if he chooses to go for it. He's going to get into the slipstream as they head towards turn 9. But I don't think he's going to be close enough just here. Maybe he's going to wait and go for it into 11. He's definitely not close enough just yet. Escaloin gets himself ahead of Berman up into 5th place. Aussie gets back past D-Stream as the two side by side through 9 and 10. D-Stream does get ahead in the end. Gabri trying to challenge Morbat on the inside. Does he have enough? There's contact between the two of them and with Roopster as well. And now Joe on the outside trying to challenge for that 3rd place. They were so close to contact between Joe and Roopster heading into turn number 13 now. And now side by side still coming into the final corner. Roopster has to back out for it. Of that, he doesn't have the grip to go around the outside of the final corner. Not there anyway. Not with the tyres that he's on. Joe now up into 3rd place and really seems to be in the fight for the race win.
Yeah, an incredible comeback by Joe, and it's almost complete. 2 cars left to go in his way if he wants to go all the way last to first. Lux Apex now speeding the pit lane as he has to make a stop for a wing change, I assume. Yep. And yeah, we've got the entire field in one train apart from Lux Apex now. It's going to be an unbelievably close end to this Grand Prix.
There's still 12 laps to go. We're talking about the
oh,
end
and it's Cologne round!
And it's
Just as I say
disaster.
that.
He's
How has he not got
He's
damage?
kept it out of the wall, or maybe he hasn't.
No, he
He's not got
didn't.
damage.
He slammed into the wall
didn't
quite
see-
heavily.
He doesn't
And the
have
front
damage,
wing is
and that's
completely fine.
brought a split in the train. Sully, 1.3 seconds behind Berman, because that gap, which was about half a second, 6/10 between him and Skurloin, is now the 1.3 seconds of him to Berman. And now he's under pressure from Phantom, and there is the split in the train. As soon as you said they're all in one big train, they are now not in one big train. Sully 1.6 seconds behind is not going to have the overtake mode on this lap.
Gabri with a full 100% battery and automatic mode on the back of Morbat out towards turn 1. Expect to see a lead change in turn 3, I would say.
Yeah, it's a very difficult braking zone to go for it into turn 1. Gabri definitely went wide onto the curbs there, coming through turn 2, and quite possibly picking out track limits warning as he does go past Morbat into 3. You can see him tucking the Red Bull tucking behind into the rear view mirror there. As going off, is that it's a yellow flag? That's Lux Apex going off. Phantom
Viral, I think.
losing places. Pubdog and trying to get his way past the Audi driver as they're side by side now into 5, which you're not going to keep a car around the outside there, and you can barely fit one going through flat out. Pubdog then gets a bit of understeer in the dirty air of Phantom, but still very much there on this game, even though it's reduced with these new regulations. Here comes D-Stream going past Pubdog, the two that collided earlier on in the race, now side by side again. D-Stream getting himself through into P8 and looking to recover into the top 6 if he can get his way past Phantom. That's Lux Apex going off again through 12. Here comes D-Stream, gets himself past Phantom up into P7. Yellow flag, I think that's Skurloin going off again.
Yeah,
on
again,
the exit
Skurloin.
turn 10. And his race going from bad to worse in just a span of one further lap since the first incident. Oh, as Pubdog tags Phantom as he goes drifting around. He's lucky to not lose more than he did as he he gets his car back under control.
Oh,
Pubdog
Pubdog is
with a
round.
spin in the final corner into the wall, and what looked like he was starting to come back into the race is now just gone away so quickly for him.
And the front wing is completely destroyed on the car as well, so that's him out the fight for the points completely.
He's going to have to make a pit stop. He's going to be around where Skurloin is, having pitted. Joe gets himself past Morbat and back up into second place, which is disaster for one Mercedes, but it's going pretty much perfectly for the other. Ever since that first lap incident, Joe has been on a charge. Viren and Skurloin both retiring in the pit lane there. They don't think the race is going to improve for them. There's still a chance of more safety cars with how the race has been so far. Here comes Joe. And he's trying to get himself into the race lead, which you wouldn't have expected. If you just look at what happened on lap 1. D-Stream gets past Sully up into 6th place, but they're so far behind, so they make a bit of contact, a bit of wheel hooking, heading down through turn 10. But they're 2.5 seconds behind the cars in front. They're unlikely to close that gap down. And Joe...
I wouldn't count D-Stream out. 2 seconds of a gap, 5-lap tire advantage. If these guys keep battling the way they are right now, that gap is going to disappear fairly quickly, and D-Stream definitely has a chance to get onto the podium in this race still. And
Morbat
maybe even a race win.
Yeah, Morbat tried to go up the inside there into turn 13 on Joe, which compromised his line and allowed Rooster to go past him as they head through 1 and 2 again. The top 5 all snaking with the train, and D-Stream's definitely gaining. And we'll see if he can get into that train, because he does have the big tire advantage, but I don't know how strong it's going to be, whether it can outweigh the overtake mode.
Well, but the way these guys are battling, I mean, you can throw a blanket over them, they're so close together. I think they're definitely more each other's way than helping each other with the overtake mode.
Yeah.
And D-Stream will probably bring Sully along with him, and maybe Phantom, Aussie, Bazooka, Flays, pulling a whole train behind him at this point, yeah.
Here comes Joe. You're going to take the outside line on Gabri. Is he going to want to commit enough battery? He's not. He turns off the battery early, allows Gabri to hold that place in exchange for another 10-15% of that battery that he can use at a later stage. He's going to go for it now. Heading down into turn 11 on the inside of the hashed car. Can he get it stopped? They make contact on the apex, but Joe does get his way through. But there's Rooster and Morbat colliding on the exit as well, which just invites D-Stream even closer to these guys. They've lost the train themselves. Joe now leads. Gabri second place, Berman third. 1.1 seconds behind is Rooster and out of the overtake mode.
Yeah, big incident there on the exit, multiple cars involved. And now they have to do a bit of work to get back into the fight for the race win. As of Joel, Gabri and Berman have pulled ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Gabri also still significantly under fuel. He's still... Okay, he's half a lap minus. I think other safety car he had 1 lap minus, so he should be fine actually. He's recharging. Not recharging. He's getting back towards 0 rather quickly, so he's fine.
With the amount of lift and coasting you do, especially at a track like Australia, you recharge so much battery. You start a race thinking there's no way if I go this much. Like you start like a lap and a half under fuel, and then you finish the race a lap and a half over. And with the amount of safety cars we've had as well, Gabri must be so underfueled to still not be in the positive.
He might have been burning during the safety cars with brake dragging.
Possibly, I don't know. He's right on the back of
Daystream now with a move on Morbat up into P5.
Yeah,
his charge continues.
And he still is in the fight for the podium at the very least. Because Roops is only just outside the 1 second, so if he gets past him, seemingly does have the pace to close back up to those guys in front with those newer tyres. It's a yellow flag, that's hella high, who's just not having a good day today, is he?
Yeah, and if that top 3 is not careful, they will definitely bring Daystream into the fight for the win. Once he gets into the range to them, he's got a huge advantage. Yellow flags and a full course VSC.
Yeah, VSC. Lux Apex going off at turn 2, and he's been disqualified for going the wrong way as he tried to stay out the way, wanted to rejoin, possibly got caught in 2 minds a little bit. And this VSC is either going to be exactly what Daystream needs if Roofster gets a good exit and gets into the 1 second, or if he gets a bad one and can fall a second and a half, 2 seconds behind, might just put him out of arm's reach. As we go through again, I think Roofster sped onto the VSC restart, and he does pick up a drive-through penalty, but the gap is closer, which is exactly what Daystream needs in this situation. Gabri on the back of Joe, he does still have the overtake mode because it came out when they were already on this lap, having already passed the line. They have the overtake mode for this entire lap. Gabri now 2.5 tenths behind Joe. I don't know if he's going to want to go for it just yet. He's going to sit behind maybe. He's already thinking about that final lap in just a few laps' time now.
Yeah, both Rapstar and Maxi with drive-through penalties on that restart, throwing away what could have been a good race, especially for Rapstar. And now he'll be out the points and he'll be absolutely, take the pissed off with himself, that I would imagine, and into the pit lane pulls Rapstar serving a drive-through penalty. That will put him, probably around 12th, 13th.
Yeah, and it's maybe if he could have chosen to stay out a bit longer, hold Daystream up, to try to do something, but I don't believe he's a full-time driver, so he doesn't have any constructors.
What benefit is there to
well, it'd be helping Berman, in theory, but I don't think he is his full-time teammate. As Morbat and Sully now side by side. Sully trying to get himself through. Morbat loses it. He goes into the wall on the extra 4. And he's lost his entire front wing. And having dominated the sprint, looking like he was in the first, well over half of this race, he looked like he was the favourite again to win. But he was just falling a little bit backwards on this restart ever since the safety car came in. And then it just goes even worse. He hits the wall, trying to stay ahead of Sully, possibly just a bit too eager on the throttle. Drop the car. Now Phantom, Sully, Bazooka and all that lot are comfortably outside of this top 4 battle for the race win. And it's another driver who could have had such a great result, and then it just goes away from them. Morbat's now surely not going to score points. He goes, maybe still with an outside chance. No, he's got to make that pit stop, which is going to cost him 30 seconds. And surely there's no way Morbat scores from here on out. Maybe, and puts Roopster basically into the points paying positions again. He's only 2 seconds behind Helahai, who has a 3 second. So Roopster still looks likely to score points in this race.
He's in the pit lane again.
Yeah. Morbat with the wing damage has to change his front wing. Yeah, Roopster's in as well. It's just not showing it on my end. Roopster goes to the softs, wanting to go for the fastest lap. So
time penalty to Bazooka, which will drop him behind Flavors. Flavors at this point now up into 7th, with both Aussie and Bazooka ahead of him having a penalty hanging over their heads. And Helahai actually into the points paying positions, thanks to Rapstar's pit stop. Pupdog coming out very close to Morbat. Rapstar, Pupdog and Morbat in 12th, 13th and 14th. The bottom 3 definitely drivers to expect more closer to the top 3, but they're once again having a battle.
Yeah, and they just all got caught up in one incident or another, and now, yes, they all. Oh, there's Bazooka losing a couple of places. He's gone deep through turn 11, and that's just cost him to the two Racing Bulls drivers. So he possibly would have lost out to after penalties, although Aussie has more than him, so at least on track. Oh, is it contact slamming into the wall from Bazooka? Making contact with, I believe that was the Racing Bulls of Aussie. There's another virtual safety car. It's not a full
That was
course,
quite weird. Aussie went really deep into the last corner. Flavors went through. I'm not sure if Bazooka got tangled up with Aussie or if he spun on his own.
He tangled with one of the decals. I don't know
Must have been Aussie then, because Aussie went super deep into the last corner. I'm not sure if Aussie was letting Flavors through on purpose or if he missed the corner. And I think Bazooka got caught out by that maybe then.
He got tangled with one of them for whatever reason, and then I think if he went fully into the wall, he'd probably get a full course, but it's only a virtual safety car. We go green again, no one speeds on this occasion. And it really is just a battle of this top four to be in the right place going onto the final lap. They all really want to be second with a full battery going onto the final lap.
Yeah, I still think Daystream now has the best chance by far. His tires are by far the best. His main problem is that he has to pass
the
three
track position
cars.
is the problem for him. He's got to make up 3 places in the next 4 laps.
And these guys are all being very disciplined with their battery.
Yeah.
Gary and Berman are not really burning through much and not forcing Jordan in turn to burn himself. They all seem happy to just hold position for the moment, which I think is smart, because obviously Joe and Gary are not going to want to lose anything, and Berman, I think, he would rather stay in third than risk losing out to Daystream, and if he tries an overtake and it doesn't work, and he's low on battery, that's when Daystream can strike. As long as Berman has battery, this game does not lend itself too nicely to pulling a dive bomb move or something like that, trying to use tire advantage in any way. You will just crush usually, because the setups are not built to drive the car on the edge really ever. So if you try it, usually you lock up.
And also it's with the, if you go for a dive bomb, you just don't recharge as much. And the later you brake, the less recharge you get. And you can see there, Gabri could have gone for a move on Joe, chooses not to, sits behind, saves some more battery. D-Stream is using more because D-Stream does seem to want to attack. But then...
He has to.
Yeah. Bazooka retires.
And if he gets one of them...
Oh, he's going to the back of him! And goes straight off the track. D-Stream tried to brake later than what Berman was doing. Made contact with the rear of him. Had to go off to avoid completely wiping him out. And that might just have put D-Stream outside of race winning contention. He's now 2 seconds behind Berman ahead of him. And with these guys not fighting, it's going to be a lot harder for him to catch up.
Yeah, the race is not long enough for him to get back into that fight unless Joe, Gabri and Berman start, going absolutely mental at each other, but I don't see that happening. I think Gabri and Berman will keep playing it smart, keep waiting for that last lap opportunity.
Yeah,
Sully and Phantom swap places for 5th once again. And with all the chaos in the back of the field, Rapsa actually back in the points now. As Bazooka retired in the pit lane after a couple of incidents near the end of his race as well, which is unfortunate to see. Rapsa now the fast lap in the Grand Prix.
Gets himself another point.
Getting himself a bonus point, so 2 points for Rapsa at the moment.
And again, I think we're going to see the same tail of the top 2 as last time. Gabri could have gone for the move if he so wished, but he's going to choose to start recharging instead. Berman has less battery than the top 2, which might mean he's struggling a little bit more to keep pace. We don't know what their tyre wear is going to be like at this stage. But coming down into turn 11 again, and he's about 30% less than Gabri, and Gabri's got a decent bit over Joe, and possibly just slowly starting to whittle him down because of the... Joe doesn't recharge as much because he's on the... he doesn't have the overtake mode, which gives you that little bit extra recharge. And possibly that could be costly, just these laps running without it, with the less recharge, and maybe that just allows Gabri to use a little bit more while keeping a full tank. And that might be what costs Joe by the time we get to the final lap.
Yeah, I mean, Joe is going to have to defend for only one lap because Gabri won't go for it
Yeah.
now, so it is going to come down to that last lap.
And
Senahai
surely
gets
he
himself
just-
another
he
time
probably
penalty. He's now up
could
to
just take the
6
piss
seconds,
before
but he will
charge.
keep 9th.
Like, surely he can just go to a complete extreme and turn the battery off halfway down the straight, because Gabri's not going to want to pass him.
I mean, I think if he turns it off that early, Gabri will take the gift. But,
Well, you can turn
because
it off
Gabri is burning some
earlier
oil
than
take
you
3
would.
here.
Yeah, it's burning, but now he turns it off, starts recharging. He's got about 15% more than what Joe does, and he's going to come down to this final lap. And I don't know if Berman's going to have the battery required to capitalize if these two start fighting. It's going to be only if they really start going at it that Berman can try and get involved.
No, I think Berman is too low on the charge at this point,
Yeah.
about 50%.
If
while
they start
Gabri
fighting
and
through
Joe
the
both have
corners,
more.
maybe he has a chance, but otherwise...
Yeah, but I think Gabri will play it smart and wait for lakeside drive.
Yeah,
He's not going to try any sort of crazy move into here.
and he's got a full
Unless
battery
Joe
coming into
doesn't
the
burn
final
about,
lap.
unless Joe's going to try and save it all for lakeside drive, then Gabri will take the gift, take the track position, and have the all-take mode still available, and he will have an easy time defending. I think Gabri's in a great spot to win this race now on this last lap.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, as he's 2.5 tenths behind behind Joe. He's got so much more battery than his rival in front of him, so they head down. Through turn 3, then into the left of 4, recharging as much as they can. Gabri's got a full battery, Joe's on 70%, and that could be the crucial difference, because Gabri's battery is not only he's got more of it, it's also stronger as they head through turn 6. And this is Gabri's first opportunity to really go for it, if he has enough. He's not going to want to burn too much at this stage, because he needs to save as much as he can for the run into 11. And I think he's going to turn off the battery and wait, but he might think about going for it on the outside into 9. Gabri, can he sweep around the outside of Joe? And I think he has got that position. He still has enough battery to pull away that little bit. They're both out. They're all out. The top 3. None of them have any battery left. And so Gabri can come into the final corner, or the final couple of corners through the final sector uninterrupted. And he's just got 2 more corners to go with a half a second advantage and no worries of being overtaken again. And he comes round the final corner. He's one of few drivers in this race to keep his nose completely clean. He crossed the line to win with Joe in second place, Berman third, D-Stream in 4th. Sully comes home 5th in the end, keeping himself clean as well. Phantom in 6th, Flavors 7th, Aussie crossed the line 8th with a 6-second penalty that isn't going to cost him in the end. It's going to be hella high in 9th to take home 2 points. Reeves is going to be in 10th, having been caught up in all sorts of instance in the end. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well, unless Morbat can take it off him at the end. Yeah, Rubes crosses the line in 10th with the fastest lap as things stand. He's going to take at least 1 point home. Then it's going to be Pub Dog. Then Maxi and Morbat. We'll see if Morbat's trying to go for the fastest lap. Maxi spins it into the wall at the end. It's a brilliant comeback from Joe to get himself into that position to even be thinking about the race win after what happened on lap 1.
Yeah, an incredible drive and an
Morbat does
incredible
get the
move
fastest
as
lap
well
at the end.
by Gabri on that last lap. That was unreal stuff to go around the outside like that at that corner at that speed on the last lap of the Grand Prix. Yeah, mental stuff and a very well-deserved race win for Gabri. But what a race from Joe as well and from Berman as well, making his way through the pack, starting from down in 13th on the grid. That was great stuff.
Gabri was not even on 70% in the end, so yeah. Yeah, he's just kept himself clean. Morbat gets the fastest lap at the death, but really would have wanted a lot more than 13th with the fastest lap. Joe recovered very well. Berman had a good race. D-Stream also made a good recovery. It's disappointing from Rubes to Pub Dog and Morbat. It's probably not. It's not entirely their fault. I don't know how much is on them. Didn't get to see the instance back. But when all is said and done, the instance they were involved in did cost them a lot of points in the end. I think Skoloin could have been right up there with how the chaos went in the end, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was a very, very hectic race. I'm gonna head out. I need to head out. I'm terribly tired.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you do the outro on your own. From me, thank you very much for having me. It was another really, really enjoyable race. I think the sprint format worked very nicely over Division 3 and 2 over the last 2 days. And congratulations to Gary on the race win, extending his championship lead by quite a bit. Now looking very, very good for a second Drivers' World Championship. And Joe as well. What a drive, what a comeback to be literally dead last in the first lap to finish second. A great job. And with that, I'm gonna head out and say my goodbyes. See you on Saturday, everyone.
Yeah, so... And just to reiterate that, it's amazing drive from Joe. I can't commend that enough for just how well he came back from that lap 1 incident. Obviously, don't know. Didn't get to see, really, what happened on lap 1, but he made up for it, made the places back, got a very good result in the end. He definitely would have taken it if you told him he's going to be fighting for the win on the last lap. At the end of lap 1, or even like halfway through lap 1. Yeah, obviously you've got to say huge congrats to Gabri taking that win, he just involved in absolutely no incidents, head down, got the result, always in that fight even when others faltered, and just generally it was a very entertaining race. Gotta love the sprints. They make it so interesting because you have the people out of position for the sprint. They're all out of position in the sprint, and then at the end, most of the time they're mostly back towards position by the end of the sprint. There's usually 1 or 2 guys that get caught up in something in the sprint, means they still have to work their way through the field, and that makes it even better. Very fun race. Good track for it as well, I think. Australia's just... because you can overtake in so many places, it just makes it so much more chaotic and very fun. Last night as well was just great. And... yeah. Hopefully Saturday is just as interesting in the same regard. Don't think it'll be quite the numbers there was tonight, but hopefully we can put up a good race for you guys. And next week, though, it may not be a sprint, but it's the Mystery Grand Prix, so drivers aren't going to know what the track is until we are in the lobby, which is going to make it fun as well. Thank you everyone for watching the stream tonight. I had quite a few viewers from what I could tell from the chat, at least. I don't have a live view account, but from the amount of different people I saw in the chat, hopefully performed quite well. And yeah, can only thank the people that are watching the streams, supporting the league just generally, and hopefully you continue to do so. We can see you around next week, Saturday if we have a stream, I don't know. But yeah, or just some point in the future. But yeah, Felix has already said his piece. From me, that's all we got. And so, yeah, all we can do is thank you for watching the streams. And hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and week. But for now, from me,